Hello, entrepreneurs and self-starters. This is Rick Phillips from YEDI, and you're listening to the Startup Sandwich Podcast, the show that unpacks the bread-winning basics, juicy-filled journey, and secret sauce of entrepreneurship. Let's go. Hello again, fellow entrepreneurs. Today, we meet Karen Fox, and we learn how she is combining the power of connection with technology, transforming chance encounters into real relationships. This sounds interesting. Let's get rid of the paper and say, oh, hi, how are you, Karen?
Great. How are you?
Very good. Today, we're going to learn a bit about your business. And I guess the first thing we want to talk about is, what's the name of the business?
Oh, hi.
That's right. I kind of led you into that one. So something about connection, something about technology. There may be some people out there going, oh no, is this another, AI replacement of humans? Is this some sort of chat GPT thing? So why don't you tell us a little bit about this business so that we understand what we're talking about today?
So, you go to many conferences and you're lost in the crowd. And then you don't know who to talk with, what to say, who to speak with. And maybe you have the best person right behind you that you don't even know existed, and you will miss it, a great breakthrough because you didn't speak to him. Mm-hmm. So what we do, we are scanning the people in the room, introduce you to the people that you need to meet, that are more aligned with your goals. We give you conversation starters that are specific to the match. And then we don't only do that because the most problematic things is not the introduction, is the relationship development and the follow-up that fall through. So what we do, we help you to develop the relationship and nurture the relationship over time that will open the door to you when you most need it, because it's the relationship that make the difference, not the introduction. Introduction, there are many.
So we're going to go beyond the introduction. So there may be some people in the audience going, okay, so it's an app, but it's more than an app. So tell me a little bit about what we're dealing with. Are we dealing with an app that we download on our phone, and does it send us emails, reminders? Does it give us templates? Give us a little bit about what this Oh-Hi product will do.
So it's not an app. It's not a platform. It's a new universe. A universe that we call intentional serendipity, where meaningful connection don't happen by accident, but by design. So everything it's not, it's connection. There are many people have many shallow connection. They're addicted to their social media platform. But what's missing is their relationship building. And we're in an epidemic of loneliness. Actually, 1 of 2 adults are lonely or isolated or feel unseen. And what's missing is most people missing is the relationship aspect. So this is what we focus on. Introduction, everyone do introduction. It's not a problem with AI today. It's not a problem. What's more problematic is the relationship building, especially after COVID.
And I want to ask, maybe it's a bit of an unfair question, but why is it, do you think, that people are less connected, or maybe they're having shallower conversations, they're not going as deep as they could, or maybe that they did before? What's going on? So
first of all, we're in Canada. Canada is a more conservative country. You're afraid to ask a question that will trigger something. Even at the school, you don't teach anything that can be controversial or can trigger something. So from the culture, we already are a few steps behind. And then we have COVID. COVID people were isolated. They were used to close themselves in their homes, in their small groups. And then we have the older adults that stayed by themselves. We have the youth that were scrolling into the screens all the time. So we already in below before even we start the conversation, and people forgot how to create meaningful connection with new people. I'm not speaking with people they know for years, and even there, many times you don't go that deep. But people are craving it,
right?
Especially after COVID.
I was just going to say that, and again, in business, there's an extra layer of conservative behavior too, because it's business, right? Okay, understood. Yes. Well,
but in regard to that, what we realized when we tested over 800 people in 10 different events, what we realized is that people are sharing a lot online. So you can go deep, and our conversation starters, don't just on the surface. We allow ourselves to give the conversation starters that are coming from what people shared online. So they are willing to talk about it if they share. So we can go a little bit deeper even in professional setting.
Yes, yes. And as you mentioned, there are other people or cultures who are much more comfortable, and so why not? Very good.
And also there is the difference between culture, right? Someone from Canada speaking with someone from the islands or warm countries, it's a different type of conversation that can happen. Actually, I have a funny story about it.
Well, go ahead with your funny story.
So when I was learning in Trent University for my master, at the beginning of the year, they were like mingling. And we had a circle of people standing together from different countries. And I realized I'm from Israel. There was someone there from the Middle East, one of the other countries. And we started talking with each other, and we started to go really deep, asking really personal questions on their life, on this country. And I suddenly stopped and realized that people around me are like amazed or shocked from the depth the conversation went. And then I turned to them and I said, okay, this is how we are in the Middle East.
Right.
So it's a cultural thing. Then, it's hard to start conversation.
No, and the thing is, though, we ask ourselves, where are we doing business, right? And so, if your market is Canada, then you astutely are saying, what are the typical ways that people introduce and interact in business, and then how can I make them speed up the process so they can build rapport faster, get deeper, and you're helping them with questions to get the conversation going.
But it's not only that, because today it's a flat world, right? So even though we are Canada, we are making international businesses. There are international conferences here. So it's not necessary. And even in Canada, there are immigrants from all these countries. So it's not as simple as saying talk in a Canadian type of language.
Right. It's what I call the operational language and culture. It doesn't mean that everybody has to do it, but there's a curiosity and there's a willingness to learn, what do Canadians do here? What do Canadians do there? And then somebody might rightly say, well, it depends and this and that and culture. And that's absolutely true. But at the end of the day, this still is the idea of what is the general way that people do business in Canada. Even Americans, God bless them, when they want to do business with Canada, they have to, if they're smart, they're going to learn what are the differences. To come in and assume that we're the same is they're going to accidentally offend a lot of Canadians because we're too sensitive for that. That's another story. So it's really great that you're able to put your finger on that and say, let me try to help. So this brings me to my next question. How did this all get started for you, this Ojai business?
So it started in COVID. I had a vision to help solve loneliness for older adults. And I developed a whole program of engagement for older adults. And then I moved to Canada. And it started to be very successful in Israel with collaboration with the retirement organization. But then I moved to Canada and I tried to do the same here. And here, different culture, different infrastructure, whatever I could do there, I couldn't do here. And then I was looking for another way to solve loneliness, but this is too big. To solve loneliness, you need to get to scale. And then I said to myself, okay, it's easier to start from the professional world because there is a real problem in the professional world during events and conferences. And then even in the professional world, if you look today at LinkedIn, there is a mixture today of the professional and the social. It's not pure professional anymore. The world is evolving. Right. And then I went back and if I speak only on event and conference and on networking, I'm not different than anyone else. So then I went back to my original ideas, elevated this time, and focused on the relationship building. Because even today, this is what opened the door for me whenever I need it. It's not the person I just met. It's a person who knows me, who trusts me over time. And not necessarily what people do mistakes today in networking events, they are using it as transactional. They are treated as transactional. Okay, if this person I'm speaking now doesn't have immediate value for me, let's move on. And this is the mistake because the real value, comes from really interacting with the people. You're memorable when you really appreciate the person in front of you and are really interested in the person in front of you. And the relationship grow over time. And then when you need it, you remember, if you kept the relationship, you remember that this person are working in a certain place. Maybe he can open the door for you or introduce you to your other half even.
Right. Or your new half, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
It reminds me of, because you're speaking about LinkedIn, and LinkedIn is by far the most popular, let's say, business social network here in North America, at least Canada and America. And out of all the connections we have, we all proudly have 500 plus, 5,000 plus, all these connections. But how many of the people do we actually talk to, even through the chat? And there's one individual I know who makes an effort to go back and forth 3, 4, 5 times in this kind of conversation. And most people don't. They kind of ask, hey, how's it going? How was your weekend? By the way, did you see this new product I have? And as you said, it's transactional. It's okay. People don't get too offended usually. But at the same time, it goes to your point that we're not going deep. We're not getting to know people. And maybe then we're not front of mind when something comes up. So tell us more about your experience in the business world here in Canada. What adjustments have you had to make personally and professionally to make sure that you can survive and thrive in the business world here?
That's a good question, because we look at Western culture, we think they are all the same. And it's the biggest mistake. Like every culture, the fact that everyone speaks English doesn't mean they have the same culture and this same mentality. Where I come from, Israel, everything is informal. You can approach people like right and left, etc. It doesn't matter what's their position, and speak with them like you speak on the beach.
Right.
And also in the workplaces, there are lots of informal conversation next to the coffee station. People know everything almost about each other, about the coworker. Here it's completely different. When I just came 15 years ago, I was working for the Canada Israel Chamber of Commerce, and I was working downtown. And I had this experience of working in a firm downtown. No small talk. Mm-hmm. The people there didn't even know the name of my husband or my, they don't know anything about my wife, and there are no small talks, only on Thursday afternoon. So the culture I had to adjust. And also when you work with people, you can't yell at them. In Israel, you yell freely.
Here in Israel, you yell at the politicians. I mean, right in front of them.
Even in the Knesset, they yell at each other.
Yeah, you don't care. I've seen that, yes.
But I learned to appreciate, coming to Canada, I learned to appreciate the respect and the space people give each other, because it's have a value. It's give you a way to breathe. And you can't come, when you move to a new country, you can't come with the same culture to the new country. You have to make adjustment.
Right. This is what I like about your business idea, is that it's, correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I understand, you're kind of saying, okay, let's at least start in Canada as one of the main target markets. Obviously, there's other countries like America and Britain and all these other places, but it's like, let's make sure that we are respecting or acknowledging the Canadian conservativeness, and let's let them ease into it. Because if you were to come in really strong and say, you guys are doing it all wrong, you have to do exactly this like we do back home, you're going to lose people. So you're saying, okay, here we are. Let's bring them up to speed. And I love that. As I said before, I think that there are few people on LinkedIn who will go a bit deeper, not as much. And when you go to a networking event, you might remember 1 or 2 people that you had a really, really great conversation with. So if we can have some sort of business that can help us go deep with more people and make that longer, it just makes sense for business people, especially entrepreneurs. They need to meet people, don't they?
And they are also lonely. I told you, 1 of 2 adults feel isolated, social isolation and loneliness, even in the business world. I go to business events. Sometimes if I'm not at my best, I look and I really don't know who to talk with. And only, again, just talking with the people next to me on the line, which is easier to start. Many times I'm lucky and I had amazing conversation, like in the last week in Elevate, but most of the time I'm missing so many amazing people. Yeah.
And as you said, it's transactional. A lot of people talk for a couple of minutes. Maybe they think they have to do some sort of 1-minute elevator pitch that they think that they need to do. And then if they don't realize from their point of view, there's a value there, they politely try to leave the conversations to meet someone else, as opposed to really saying to themselves, well, there could be future gold in this relationship. And exactly. One of the favorite
Or there
tricks,
is another way where people start telling you all their sales speech and cut you for like 5 or 10 minutes, and you're trying to find your way to...
You're trying to escape.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's the thing, right? It's like either maybe someone's not speaking at all, or someone is talking too much, and you want to have a balance. So if your company can help them find that balance. Like as a communication professional, for me, it's always interesting. What is active listening? What is not a good question, but a great question? What's going to give you that valuable relationship, et cetera, et cetera. Little tricks I've learned along the way about networking, for example, no matter what you think the relationship is, at the end of it, say, thanks, let's connect. And by the way, do you happen to know somebody who is ... And that's the person I'm interested in meeting. Like, do you happen to know someone who's a recruiter? Do you happen to know someone who's in finance? Do you happen to know someone who's a lawyer? And then at the very least, you're leaving that person with an idea that they may be able to say, you know what, my uncle does that. Or I think I met that person over there. I think they're a lawyer. And that's just an easy question to throw at the end of that conversation to maybe get you a warm lead elsewhere. What are the things, tell us a bit more about your business, because now I'm getting all charged up. Tell us a bit what people can expect. Do they sign up privately? Do you want companies to come and use you for their events? Tell us a bit more about how your business Ojai works.
So it's like stage. We're early stage. So right now we work with community managers, with event organizers, and we elevate the experience in the event, because basically these event organizers, they want to give better experience to their attendees. And actually statistically, 43% of people are disappointed from event because they didn't meet the people they came to meet, and they didn't get the results they were hoping to meet. So I'm helping first these event managers and event organizers, and we develop a kind of a flow and a deck of cards, a concept to basically spice up the conversation. And we are testing it out now in different events. We just signed partnership with the Network Brew. It's an event place, not big, but small event place, where we're holding events there, and we will, upcoming in October 24, Friday. It's called Spicy Serenity.
Spicy Serenity.
Yes, it's basically a morning where you come. You first, it's a kind of retreat without buying a plane ticket.
Nice.
So you come, you enjoy some shakes, healthy shakes, and then a little bit of movement, and then curated conversation with prompt and, between people that we are matched before, and then healthy breakfast, and then you can stay and co-work for the day. What we're trying to build is a sense of community, and this is the kind of customers we're looking now, event organizers and community manager, and to create the engagement, because engagement is what strengthens your image and your brand identity and keep people loyal to you, and you don't need to work hard to convince them to stay, because we give them real sense of belonging, what most people crave, a sense of belonging and meaningful connection that can happen over time. So this is what we're trying to create in this space, and also with every corporate we're working with. And the later stage, when we get to scale, then we'll work on the individual and on the relationship building aspect over time. Right now it's basic.
Community is a word that gets spoken a lot in the entrepreneurial circles. Certainly in our podcast, we come across that word a lot. And I hope that the new entrepreneurs out there don't take that word for granted, because community is really, really vital for business success. And if a company wants to help build their community, make it stronger, they can use your product to help them with their events.
Yes, I want to say something about it, because most people mistaken communities. They call community a distribution list. So you have a community, like lots of thousands of them on your distribution list. You send them invites for event. They're attending event. In this event, the people who know each other already speak with each other. There is a little bit interaction between the people you don't know. And then they go home and nothing happened between event. This is not a community. A community is a place you feel you belong. A community is a place where you can, if you need something, you can find the support and whatever you need to succeed there. A community is a feeling. It's a feeling of belonging. And you can't just get it from attending events from time to time. This is not a community. It's a distribution list.
Yes. And for you to be able to have that clear definition is important. And then you can have these conversations with potential clients and also with people that you, as the company grows, hire on, and you can let them know this is what we mean by community. This is what we're aiming for. It's very important for the founder to have a vision, right?
Yes.
As Murat taught. Very good. Let's learn a bit about you. How did you become an entrepreneur? Is this your first swing at entrepreneurship? Were you selling lemonade when you were 5 years old? Like, tell us a bit about your entrepreneurial journey.
So I always had the entrepreneur spirit. But then I worked and I suffered working for a salary.
Right.
And then during COVID, I decided to, before COVID, I had a small business online fashion store in Israel. And it was going well. And then COVID came and everything stopped. There was no nothing happened. And at the first 2 weeks, I was in shock like every other person on earth. And then I was started the process of thinking, okay, if the world going crazy, what can I do that will survive time? And then I started to thinking, and at that moment, people were not getting their invitation from the supermarket on time. So I drove like 3 hours for a farm, no, more, 5 hours because I lived in the north and they were in the south, for farmers that I knew from the south. I got orders from my community before and I drove there and brought them the vegetable directly from the field and distributed. This is how I survived through COVID.
Nice.
And entrepreneurs is someone that like when there is a wall, they find another wall. You have to be resilient. Like entrepreneurship, you can't call yourself entrepreneurship if you're not resilient because there are always walls. There are always holes that you will go deep and you always need to get up and keep trying. Eventually you will succeed, but only if you keep trying and pivoting. And so this is what happened in COVID. And then I was looking for something. I started to be bored with my brain. I wanted some challenge. And then I met a dear friend that told me, I was thinking just to take a salary and like something in technology because I used to work in the past in startup companies. And then he told me, no, you need to be an entrepreneur. You have an entrepreneur mind. And although I knew it for years, the one person that told me that and made the switch and said, and I said, okay, it's time to start. And then I started to learn AI. I started to learn different things in order to be able to not have small entrepreneurship like with the fashion, but like have something bigger. And then oh, hi.
Oh, hi.
And basically, you know how you meet, the reason for the name, you know how you go to events and like someone behind you didn't realize and suddenly you turn and you realize the value of the person behind you and you say, oh, hi.
Exactly.
So this is where the name came.
Exactly.
From the wife of my co-founder.
Oh, nice. Yeah, sometimes, and this is not exactly what you're talking about, but it reminds me of this kind of, I don't know if it's real or not, statistically speaking, but the expression is, what's the best pickup line for guys to try to pick up a girl in a bar? Like for those original, what's the best pickup line? And people have all these corny lines and the answer is no, just saying hello, like hi, like that's it. Like just keep it simple. And so in the business world, it's the same idea. You're just meeting people and you can't do that without that hi. And the next step is getting their name because then that breaks down barriers. As soon as you know someone's name, that starts to break down barriers and it builds a sense of responsibility. So if you and I sit on a train or plane for hours and hours and hours beside each other, we may be cordial, friendly, smile, but as soon as we actually exchange names, we both have a sense of responsibility for each other that's different than not exchanging names. The statistics have been done on that. It's really, really interesting stuff.
But also not asking, what do you do?
Oh, that's for sure.
Because we made an experiment in one of the events with Tech on the bus to Ottawa to South North. And we set we matched people before, they didn't know that. And we set them next to each other. We didn't tell them why. And we wanted to see what type of conversation are going on between when they are a match. So the conversation were okay, not too much, Canadian way. And then we gave them an envelope, each with their conversation starters. And then you could see, because after that we follow up and spoke with them, you could see the depth suddenly of people speaking because the conversation starters are there to initiate a deeper conversation on the allowance level, right? On the level that is allowed. And there was a huge difference just from going a little bit deeper.
Yeah, small talk should lead to big talk.
Yes. And to meaningful connections.
Yeah. Another thing I picked up along the way is just a lot of people kind of leave it at one question or two, but if you forced yourself to have 3 questions, so whoever you're meeting, whatever situation, if you go, whatever the first response is, hi, how are you? Okay, that's 1, right?
Yeah.
You know, how was your weekend? That's 2. But if you forced yourself to have a third, anything, that's when it starts to get creative because you've done the basic standard, hi, how are you? Fine, thanks. Oh, weekend's good. That third thing might be something a little more interesting. So again, getting deeper is going to help us in our social life and certainly in our business life because, and why is it important to build rapport in business? Why don't you tell our audience why that's so important for them to have deeper relationships? How does that help their business when they speak on a deeper level?
When you build rapport, you build trust.
That's right.
Okay. In small, even when you go to a store, I used to sell I used to sell all sorts of things in my past.
Yeah.
it doesn't matter what you sell. It's the matter of the rapport you build with the person and with the trust. The moment the person likes you, the moment the person trusts you, they will buy from you. It doesn't matter what you sell. And the trust is built on listening. You can't sell without listening to what they need. Once you're listening to what they need and what the real need is, and you provide real solution, then, this is where the closing happen.
Yeah.
And it's built on trust. To develop trust, it takes time, especially when you are selling something that is not just a small transaction. When you are selling something that is a big a business deal, it takes sometimes weeks or months to develop. It will never happen without trust.
Right.
And it will never happen over the phone.
Right.
You have to meet the person and feel the person to actually close the deal, the final closing.
One of the words I also use in connection to building rapport and trust is comfort, right? People underestimate the power of being comfortable. So when you're comfortable with someone, again, you let your guard down more, both psychologically and emotionally, and then you're more vulnerable. You open yourself up more. You have more honest conversations. You feel and the trust builds as well. So very good.
And also when you realize you have something in common,
right?
And this is where our conversation starters go.
Yeah.
Then you are lighting up. And you go out of your square, of the professional square, and they can see a little bit more of you.
Right.
Because with what you do, or you don't do something that I need now, you're still in your square. No one know who you truly are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we want to always find same tribe. What brought you to YEDI?
So YEDI have a good rating.
Okay, good.
I drove there many times. It's not far from my house. And I like the thorough program because it's very thorough. I participate in many other programs, but this program of 4 months, I participate in a program. There are many other programs, but I participate in the 4 months. It's like mini MBA.
Right.
It's in the depth of the MBA. And the lectures are really like a lecture in the university. And it's not just lecture and after that you go home and forget. They make you make us work after each lecture and submit what we needed to submit, and it's make it more serious and more personal guarantee that it will lead somewhere. So it's a more serious,
right?
Comparing to other. Each program have their advantage, but the advantage of YEDI, it's really thorough and really like very high level.
Thank you for that. So what's next for Ojai? You tell me, next 4 months, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, maybe you could share with our audience a little bit of what you've got planned for Ojai.
So right now in the next 3 to 4 months, we are working to test our connection model, relationship building model in the events that we're collaborating with corporate partners. And then we fundraise. We're in the process, we're just starting soon to fundraise in order to develop the platform, the intentional serendipity platform that can help you build and nurture the relationship that will lead to your breakthrough and lead to the opening door when you need it. It takes time to scale it. And then we focus at the beginning in Canada because we are from Canada. But the idea is that once we established here, in Canada, there are only 4,000 events. In the US, it's like 40,000 events a year. Mm-hmm. So we're expanding. We will expand to North America and then to English-speaking Europe and then to Asia.
Very good plan. A good sandwich has a lasting, hopefully memorable taste. Sometimes it's what we call the secret sauce or the secret recipe, like KFC has its 11 herbs and spices, for example. The Coca-Cola recipe is still apparently under lock and key. So a good sandwich should have a special sauce. A good business should have a special sauce. Maybe it's innovation, maybe it's something else. What would you say is the special sauce for Ojai?
So it's our grand vision. Our grand vision is to build a world with intentional serendipity in it, where meaningful connection don't happen by chance, when you don't miss the person behind you because you didn't even know he existed. A world where your next breakthrough will start from, or your other half, we start from a simple, genuine, oh, hi, moment.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much, Karen. As a communication professional myself, this has been a really fun conversation because you and I have had some conversations on this topic before, and we go back and forth. But it's a really great opportunity to let our audience know that entrepreneurs cannot, I don't want to say dismiss small talk and interpersonal skills, but sometimes they downplay it a bit. They're more worried about their financial projections, or maybe they're worried about their prototyping, which are very important things. So maybe as a lasting comment, maybe you could give your opinion or experience with the importance of communication skills as an entrepreneur.
First of all, the communication skills help you to feel less lonely in the journey, because you're not keeping it to yourself. It can be very lonely. So when you learn how to build your village, it takes a village to grow a startup. You can't build it on your own. You're expanding your outreach, you're expanding your network. And it's very helpful also for your mental health, because lots of entrepreneurs are dealing with mental health issues, because it's very stressful. And when you're down in the trenches, in the holes, it can be very depressing.
Right.
And by developing your communication skill, by being able to speak about what you feel, even with your partners, even with your investor, even by the ability to connect, this is what will move the needle for you. Not, these graphs are important for the next stage, but if there is no basic connection, nothing will go beyond this point.
Very well said. Thank you, Karen Fox of Oh Hi. Unfortunately, we have to say oh bye, but I'll see you at the next YEDI adventure, next event, and good luck with everything. And if people want to find you, we will put your social media or your links in the description, so people may connect with you and reach out to you and ask you any questions about yourself or about your business. Okay?
Okay.
Thanks for being here. Thank you for watching. And be sure to subscribe on YouTube or wherever you check out your podcasts. Until next time, keep turning small bites into big wins.